This agreement in principle video has been made by the Yekooche First Nation Chief, Council, and Treaty Team. The purpose of this video is to explain to the Yekooche membership what the agreement in principle actually is, and more importantly, that it is not the final treaty. The agreement in principle is one step that needs to be taken in order to get towards a final treaty. Before we continue, there are a few ideas that are worth explaining. There are 6 stages that the Yekooche must complete in order to finalize a treaty. Stage 1 was when the Government of Canada and British Columbia were informed that the Yekooche wanted to negotiate a treaty. Stage 2 was when the Government of Canada and British Columbia were given the authority to negotiate with the Yekooche. Stage 3 was when the Yekooche, Canada, and British Columbia decided what would be negotiated. Stage 4 is the stage the Yekooche are currently at. This is when an agreement in principle is voted on. At this stage, the Yekooche community votes to decide that negotiations can continue. Stage 5 is when the final treaty is negotiated. And finally, Stage 6, which is when the treaty is actually put to work. This is a summary of where we were, where we are now, and where we are heading. On May 11, 1995, the Yekooche First Nation submitted their statement of intent to the federal and provincial governments. By October 4 of 1996, the Yekooche, along with the federal and provincial governments, determined the framework agreement or the items that would be negotiated. So, from 1995 until 2005, the Yekooche Treaty Team has been successfully negotiating and working towards the agreement in principle. Importantly, the agreement in principle is not legally binding. During the negotiating of the agreement in principle and before the final treaty agreement, the Yekooche will receive treaty-related measures that will assist them in preparing for life after the final treaty. These treaty-related measures involve forestry, fisheries, land use, and the establishment of a Yekooche government. There will be many other treaty-related measures throughout the negotiation process. These projects will be funded fully by the government and are grants, not loans. Also, the Yekooche Treaty Team will negotiate issues about timber and mental health outside of the agreement in principle. This process also clearly states that there will be no change to the existing health and welfare programs. After the agreement in principle is accepted by the Yekooche community, the Yekooche Treaty Team will continue to negotiate towards the best possible final treaty. This may take many years and requires the full support of the entire Yekooche community. Importantly, throughout this time period, Canada and British Columbia will continue to support the treaty-making process. Only after the Yekooche Treaty Team and the larger community are satisfied with the negotiation process will a final agreement be drafted.